Again, good morning to everyone.
Good morning, sir.
After
Morning,
yeah,
sir.
yes, now first mute your audio system. After 1 week, we are again meeting. So, just for your reminder, we were discussing about the different features of. First, you mute your audio. In our previous classes, we were discussing about the atmosphere, different features, elements, importance, about different layers. Just to recall it, because there is a long gap between each class. So just for your reminder, little bit revision of our previous class, I want to give you that we were talking about elements of weather. Discussing about elements of weather. And the first element of weather is air pressure. Air pressure. Already I had given you the definition on that day, that air pressure, as we know that air has weight which presses down on the earth. And that weight of air which exerts pressure, that is known as air pressure. There are two types of air pressure. One is high pressure and one is low pressure. When the wind is cold, that is called low pressure, and hot air exerts less pressure. Even I had given you the example in the coastal areas how the climate maintains moderate due to such pressure. This is ocean. And this is land. In the daytime, when the sun rises, we know that the character of land and water, that land becomes hot very quickly in comparison to water. So the air which is present here, it becomes hot and it rises up and moves towards this side. And just the air which is present above the surface of the sea, that is still cold, and just to feel the area, it moves towards the land and makes the climate in the coastal area moderate at daytime. It is about day. And just opposite of it, at night, the air which is present just over these areas, or the water is still hot, the land become cold, so the hot air rises up, and just to feel it, just
Good morning, sir.
bridge which is which is present here, it moves towards the sea, and the air which is present here, it moves this side. This is known as land bridge and sea bridge, and these are the causes of the air pressure. This is the first element of weather. Second one is very important, that is wind. First, we should know what is wind. The horizontal movement of air, that is called wind. It is the cause of the temperature change. Again repeating, the horizontal movement of air due to the change in temperature known as wind. Now, there are certain winds. We can categorize the different type of winds if we will look after the whole world, earth. As we know that the equator passes just at the middle of the earth, and it divides the earth into two equal parts. It divides the earth into two equal parts. The northern part is known as northern hemisphere and southern part is known as southern hemisphere. In this area is known as equatorial area because the latitude which passes through the 0 degree, that is known as equator, and the zone is known as equatorial zone. In this area, the sun rays falls directly all through the year. That's why it is the hottest zone, and the air which is present here in this zone, that is hot air pressure. Hot air is present here and it causes low pressure area. Now we will move towards the tropics. At 23.5 degree north, we know that Tropic of Cancer is there, and at 23.5 degree south, Tropic of Capricorn is present there. And in those areas, the temperature is low in comparison to the equatorial area. So, the wind which comes from the low pressure towards the high pressure, the wind blows in this zone from the low pressure area. This is hot. High pressure area. In this way, the wind moves, and with the direction, the winds are known as, that is northeast trade wind. This is moving from the north, it is moving towards the east. So it is known as northeast, and southeast, which moves in the southern hemisphere. More we had gone through about the pressure belt in the polar region. The polar easterlies, from the cold area, the wind moves. The polar wind, that is known as polar easterlies, or you can say it northern polar and southern polar easterlies. So these are the type of winds. Now with the name, with the direction of the name, we can categorize it. That first one, that is known as trade wind or permanent wind. With the word you can understand what it means. Permanent winds, planetary winds means the wind which blows all around the year in the same direction. The wind which blow towards the same direction all through the year, that is known as permanent wind and planetary wind. That's why it is called planetary wind. As we know that the trade winds that come from the east blow from subtropical high pressure zone to equatorial low pressure zone, and westerly winds, westerly from the western side. That's why it is called westerly winds. that come from the west blow from subtropical area. Just I told you, polar winds which moves from the poles towards the tropics. These winds blows in the same direction permanently all through the year, so it is called permanent wind. Second type of wind is seasonal wind. I hope with the name you can easily understand the meaning seasonal. The wind which moves in a particular season, in a certain direction. Those winds are known as seasonal wind. Again repeating, the winds which blows in a particular direction in only few seasons, in a particular certain season. Such type of winds are known as seasonal winds. As the example is monsoon winds. As we know that the monsoon winds moves from Arabian Sea towards the north and one moves from the Bay of Bengal. These are the two seasonal winds specially which affects the climate of India, and the season is going on. This is also known as monsoon winds or seasonal winds. And the third type of wind which blows in a particular area, not all through the earth or globe, or even not in a whole country. It depends on the climate of especially at that zone, that area, that region. Such wind blows in a certain season also, and due to the locality, it is known as local wind. The hot wind which blows in the summer season, especially in our area, in the plateau area, those comes under these local winds. And one of the example of such wind is Lu. That is called Lu. We are very familiar with the word. That is the hot wind, hot and dry wind, which blows in the summer season. And fourth one is variable winds. Variable means it varies. When cold air meets with the hot air, then their occurrence varies with time and place. Such type of winds are known as variable, and the example of such winds are the disastrous cyclones. Those winds comes under this category. So students, there are four type of winds. We can categorize it. First, permanent wind or perennial wind. Second, seasonal wind. Third, local wind. And fourth, variable wind. Now we will talk about the next point, next element of atmosphere, that is temperature. Temperature is the next element of atmosphere. As we know that air temperature of a particular place denotes the degree of hotness or coldness. It is simply for a particular area, the hotness or coldness of air is known as temperature. It also varies place to place, and it is measured. The unit is, to measure it is Celsius or Fahrenheit. The sun's rays which passes through the atmosphere quite easily, though not all of the heat reaches the earth, it passes through the different layers of the atmosphere. This is the surface, and the sun's heat, the sun's rays just passes through the different layers of the atmosphere. Though we know that all the heat which comes from the sun, not reach to the earth. Few heat or few rays are absorbed by the different layer of the atmosphere. It may be some of it's reflected back even in the space. Some of these rays are reflected back to space. Some of these rays from space it reflects back. Some rays are absorbed by clouds also. Clouds are present there. Few rays are also absorbed by clouds. Few rays are, if you are in the class, please don't go outside. After every 5 minutes you are joining. If you are sitting in the class, please don't move. It is not your drawing room. Okay. So the sun rays which comes from the sun towards the surface of the earth, all of the rays, all of the heat never reach to the surface of the earth. Some rays are returned back, reflected by towards the space. Few are absorbed by the clouds. Few rays are absorbed by the ozone layer. That's why the temperature becomes moderate or optimum till it reaches to the surface of the earth. Hot air being lighter rises and cool air descends to take its place. As we know that after heating, when the sun rays falls here, after heating, the hot air rises up and the cold air comes to fill that area. This is the actually process. The cool air heated by the warm surface of the earth become lighter and rises. That is, low air currents are created. That is known as low air current. It is in most physics. You will read about the reflection and refraction. In that way also the atmosphere is heated. That is also one of the process. Now, one more point is there. As we know that this temperature is measured by a simple instrument that is known as thermometer. We note that when our body temperature increases, we used to the temperature. That will be taught by in physics class about the function and structure of thermometer. Next one is known as our saturated point. Saturation point or saturated point. What is saturation point or saturated point? Actually, the air can hold only a certain amount of water vapor. Because everyone have different capacity. I can hold 50 kg, you can hold 10 kg, something like that. Everyone's capacity is same. And if anyone gives me more than 50 kg just to take it away or carry it, then I will be failed. If anyone gives you more than 10 kg, you will say, nahi hoga. So that limitation is known as saturation point. So the air has also some same type of capacity just to hold the water vapor at a given temperature. And when the air reaches its full capacity to hold water vapor, it is known as saturated air. Saturated air. Or the point is known as saturation point. After this point, it will start raining, because after that the air will not be able to just hold the water vapor, and the next stage is known as, due to that, the next stage after the saturation point, the next step is known as precipitation. That is the only reason. Why? Because when suppose you are not able to hold more than 10 kg on your hand, what will happen? Certainly you will fall down. In the same manner, when the air becomes saturated, after that it starts precipitation. That is, the rainfall starts. So precipitation, we can define it, is any form of water in solid or liquid form that falls on the earth's surface. Any form of water, either it is solid or liquid, means ice or snow or something else, or water droplets, when it comes from the clouds towards the surface of the earth, that is known as precipitation. Precipitation can take place in several types, several forms. Rainfall occur when droplets present in the clouds become very heavy. From the clouds, the droplets becomes heavy, and to remain suspended in the air, and it falls down towards the surface of the earth. When it becomes beyond the capacity, then it comes towards the surface of the earth. That is known as precipitation or rainfall. When warm moist air cools, it condenses and forms peak clouds, which brings precipitation. In your previous classes, we had already discussed about different type of rainfall, but actually the rain cycle is very simple. The water which is present on the surface of the earth, due to the heat from the sun rays falls over those water bodies. Due to the heat, it evaporates and goes in the sky. Here, due to the low temperature, it condenses and forms clouds. And when it becomes saturated, it comes towards the surface of the earth in the form of precipitation or water droplets. This is known as water cycle also. These are the causes. This is the cause actually for the precipitation. So these are the elements of our atmosphere. First, air pressure. Second, winds. Third, temperature. And fourth one is precipitation. These are the four elements of atmosphere. I hope with that we can easily understand about the chapter. From last 2-3 days we are discussing about it. That atmosphere, the component of atmosphere, what are the uses, and so on. That is about this chapter. Students, if we will move towards the next chapter, in revision, already half of the time is gone. So fifth chapter, that is in your book, is water, which is also a very essential thing. Everyone knows about water. What is water? How it comes? What is the percentage of water? Yes. Afsanaz, you can write down your question there. You can write down your question there.
So by mistake.
By mistake, no problem. Okay. So in this chapter, we will see that first very important thing, just we will understand what is the importance of water. We will go through, we will discuss through this point, over this point. Just even in the previous chapter, all the other interrelated chapters, just we have finished about the precipitation. But in next chapter again, why I discussed with you in the shortcut, because we will again go through the point that is water cycle in this chapter. We will learn simply, we can imagine a day without water. Think about it. I think your answer is no. We can't think. Even a single day without water. The water we can see in our surroundings. It is found in rivers, lakes, and different sources. Think about it. If everything will dry up, these lakes, rivers, and other sources of water dries up, then how we will do our everyday activities without water? Just after getting up in the morning till bedtime, how can we perform our different works without water? Really, it is very tough. If you will think about it, the conclusion will be that simply we can't survive without water. And we know that water can't be replaced. And even we know that it is the essential for the existence of life on the earth. That is the importance of water. All the living beings, all the living organism needs water just to survive, just to exist on the earth. The presence of water makes Earth a unique planet. Sometimes it is called blue planet also. Why the Earth is blue planet? The answer is very simple. That we know that more than 75% of the Earth is covered with water. And when we look it from space, due to the presence of water, it appears blue. So our unique planet is also known as blue planet. Water is essential, especially for numerous activities of human beings, and for the development also of the nation, of the state, or of the society. It is very essential for all the activities we perform, actually. And the most essential purpose of water is for that is the drinking. That is the most essential. Safe drinking water and basic sanitation, one can prevent water related diseases. Even in present, in every home, in each and everyone's house, you will find out a water purifier. Why it is used? Just for the purification of water. Because we know that now the water is completely, mostly, is polluted. So minimum, just to keep us safe from the different diseases, we used to drink a pure water. That is the reason in our home or outside, we uses this pure or purified water. Otherwise, especially, it is very essential in the rainy season, just to take precaution, always drink pure water. Otherwise, it may cause different type of diseases like diarrhea, and which is a killer disease. So, it is just for you that don't drink water from any other sources surrounding your society. It is a precautional cause. Now, if you will see the global availability of water, global availability, how much water is present? First, just we discussed that why water is important. The first main cause is for drinking, or it is also used for different household works, for cooking, for washing, and the most important for the farmers, that is for irrigation, and so on. If you will move towards the industrial sector, then most industries need water also to operate the production sector work. Though 2/3 of the earth is covered with water, but we know that most of the water is saline. It is very simple. The 2/3 of the earth's area is covered with water. Then also, the maximum part of the water is saline. If we will discuss about the percentage, only 3% of the total water, only 3% of total water which is present on earth is fresh water. Yes, Asfanaj, again by mistake, or you are doing something else? Afsanaj, if you have any question, you may write down. So, rest 97% of the water is saline water, and the 3% water is only that is fresh water present on the earth. Out of this 3%, the almost 2% plus is found in the form of either ice caps or glaciers. Means they are already frozen. and only 1% of the water which is present on earth that is used by the people, by the human beings. That is the ratio. So how much it is precious for us with this percentage, you can easily understand. Rest water, that is the 97%, which is saline water and salty water, that is good for nothing, especially for the human beings, for the consumption. That is about the water cycle. Now, we will discuss about the water cycle, that how the water comes in nature. What is the process of water cycle? As per our previous chapter, when we were talking about the elements of atmosphere, one of the element of atmosphere was precipitation. And now we are discussing about the water cycle. So both the points are same. Then also, I am going to discuss it with you, explain you that what is water cycle. Actually, the movement of water from the hydrosphere to the atmosphere, and then to the lithosphere and biosphere, and again back to hydrosphere. These are the geographical terms, because now you are not in 6, you are now in the class 7. That's why you should understand